What a wild race we had last week at the New Smyrna Speedway to open up the season unofficially with the Miliello Smooth Fest. Bruno Diacomo, biggest win of his career. Well, we'll see if he tops that here tonight as we officially begin the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. We are here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. It used to be the place where the NASCAR season ended, but here in the Wawa Cup Series, we begin the campaign each and every season. And this year, we are here with such a strong field, who knows how it's all going to go down. But it all begins tonight here around this 1.5 mile speedway in Homestead, Florida. This is the Wawa 400 here in the 2024 Wawa Cup Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the opening race of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series 2024, the official opening race. We got to see everybody in action last week in the Smooth Fest, but now it is on for points, and the championship hunt starts right here tonight. Of course, Labor Day weekend, we'll crown a champion in the Southern 500, but tonight, we'll crown our first official race winner of the 2024 season, and I'm excited to see who gets it done. So many strong drivers in this field. We saw them all last week, and they're going to go after it again here for 67 laps around this 1.5 mile racetrack here in Miami, Florida. Joe alongside Josh Williamson once again, and Caleb Rose. Both of you guys are owners, and Josh, I'll start with you. Your driver, Bruno Diacomo, got the race victory in the Miliello Smooth Fest last week. He starts deep in the field alongside your other driver, Jesse Turner, but hey, the ratings are still very equal. What do those guys in the back need to do to go through the field and have a shot at this race victory here tonight?
Well, they're going to have to get I would say they're going to have to get on that inside and just go right through the field. It's a long race tonight, 67 laps around the Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's a long race. We might see some action take place in the middle of the field to kind of jumble everybody back up and maybe even open more opportunities to get through the field. But I think they're definitely going to they're going to need to play it safe at first, but when you get those restarts, you've got to just do everything you can to make those passes, and you've got to have some good stops on the pit road as well, because that could be the make or break for your race.
Yeah, absolutely could. Of course, the cycle of pit stops here today, about a 37-lap fuel run for these guys. However, races here tend to have long green flag runs as well, so you have to have a strong car in the long green flag runs in order to have a good finish. And Caleb, I'll bring it to you. You have your hot seat driver starting on the outside pole with Alexander Rowe, but your two full-timers, Nicholas Amadeo and Logan Williams, who both had a great season last year starting deep in the field. Do you think you guys have some long-run cars to possibly have a shot at this race victory tonight?
Honestly, it's going to be kind of hard telling, because like you said earlier, it's still very early on in the season. The ratings are still pretty equaled out. So pretty much about everyone will have an equal shot at this, and it'll be interesting to see as this race goes on exactly who will be the guy that gets the most out of the ratings that they have. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this race plays out. Got a lot to factor in, and something I would honestly watch out for is the pit stops, because if this thing goes green the whole way, it can make the cycle really interesting and can make or break your race. And honestly, Homestead has probably one of the most aggressive pit entries of all the tracks on the calendar, going straight from the banking to the flat apron and not a lot of time to get your car slowed down. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything cycles out, but our guys are starting on the inside, so they have a pretty good advantage when the green flag drops.
They definitely will. Inside lane has a pretty good advantage here at Homestead, but sometimes that outside lane finds some grip, a very unique racetrack. And, of course, if you saw the Sprint Series race on Wednesday, you know we're in store for a great one here tonight. Speaking of the Sprint Series, 4 drivers in the hot seat rides are Alexander Rowe in the number 50. Number 31 is Eric Monaco. The number 11 is Zayden Davidson. And the 00 of Priya McShane driving from the Sprint Series, racing their way into this Wawa 400 here tonight, but I'm sure none of these full-timers want to see any of them get the race victory. They want to be the first one going to victory lane, and have an opportunity at this championship. The championship format, just as it was last year, 20 regular season races, top 10 in points advance on to the chase, and then 2 wild cards. Those 2 wild cards are the 2 drivers highest in points outside the top 10 with a race victory. So if you get a race victory, you're automatically in the wild card race. It's not a matter of how many wins you have, but how many points you have from that point on. So you have to be consistent each and every race, and it's very difficult to do so early on because, hey, these guys are still adjusting their ratings. They're only 2 weeks into doing that. Once we get later on to the season, we'll start to see some drivers peak away from others. We saw that with Drew Webb last year, our defending champion. We'll have to see if we find someone else doing that later on in the season, but first race is always a big one. You want to start off the season in victory lane, and we got 40 drivers who are looking to do so here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway tonight. We have 13 rookies this year full-time. Of course, some of these names are not necessarily rookie names, but in terms of the Wawa Cup Series, it is their first season. Matthew Hubert, Trey Bartow, Philip Torres, Bruno Diacomo, who won the Smooth Fest last week, Angel Gutierrez, Jack Haas, Ace Garcia, Avery Alford, Bernardo de Oliveira, Bryce Egan, Salmon Oskin, Jesse Turner, and Kirsten Bell. All rookies, all going for the Rookie of the Year. Whoever has the most points at the end of the season of those 13 drivers will be the Rookie of the Year. Kind of an unofficial thing right there, but definitely look out for some of these guys. A lot of them were in the Sprint Series last year, and of course Jesse Turner is Jesse Turner. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing how it all goes down. But one guy who had a great year last year was a driver who starts on the pole. His name is Chase Buck. He won 3 times last year, and twice when he started on the pole, he led nearly every single lap. Well, he starts on the pole here tonight alongside Alexander Rowe. And right behind him, how about Racing Motorsports and Aaron Abel with Justin Zeidel and Blaine Keys. Last time we were here, Blaine Keys won the truck finale. He's got a good shot at maybe winning the Cup race here tonight. We got Kirsten Bell, rookie driver for Evans Ross Racing, to the inside of Brady Mardi Gras. The return of Trey Bartow, the full-time Cup Series Racing, and of course he's in the number 4. He's alongside Daniel Paulus Jr., and how about a couple of hot seat drivers? Eric Monaco, who won on Wednesday, to the inside of Zayden Davidson there in row number 5. That's the top 10. You see the rest of the starting lineup there on the left-hand side of your screen. Josh and then Caleb. Who do you guys think's going to victory lane here tonight in the opening race of the season, the Wawa 400 here at Homestead?
I'm going to dip back to the 6th row on the inside and go with the number 39, the Evan Ross Racing driver, Jack Haas, to go to victory lane tonight at Homestead.
Well, I remember he had a pretty good run here last season, and really excited to see what he can do this year driving the Celsius Crusader. I'm going to go with Matt Tuck in the number 54 to win this race. Start to get about mid-pack on that inside lane. Going to be interesting to see if he can get up to the front and win this race tonight.
That's
right
a good
behind
pick.
him is our defending champion, Drew Webb. It's going to be interesting to see what he does here tonight. Will he be off to a better start than he did last year? We'll just have to see. Here we go! The season is underway! We're green flag racing at the Homestead-Miami Speedway in the Wawa 400. And lap 1, I think, went to Justin Zeidel. And barely. So bonus point for Justin as he's almost getting in. The Chase Buck there into the corner. Kirsten Bell to the race lead in the 93. And Chase Buck is in the outside wall. We're going to see that a little bit tonight. That Homestead stripe. Trey Bartow to the inside, though. I know he is definitely very excited to be here full-time in the Cup Series. Jack Haas and Ace Garcia up here as well. How about the top 5? All 5 of these guys were not even in the Wawa Cup Series last year. You got Alexander Rowe, Sprint Series driver in the middle there as well. But they're led by Kirsten Bell in the 93, leading here in this Wawa 400 early on.
Things stabilizing up front for now. The inside appears to be key right now. A lot of cars getting into the wall again. Deeper in the field, Kirsten Bell continues to lead the way. Trey Bartow second, Jack Haas in third. The 44 of Ace Garcia right there, and not too far behind that 44. There is the I think that's
double
the
zero.
double zero.
Priya McShane, who raced her way in on Wednesday. And she's top 5 right now for Team Williams. Definitely a solid driver there in the Sprint Series. Actually made her first start of the year over there on Wednesday night in the South Florida 200. Jack Haas there in 5th. You got Ace Garcia here from Millennium Motorsports. This is a new team to the Wawa Cup Series. Chase Harris, the owner of this organization. They had an excellent season in the Truck Series. And Ace Garcia back behind the wheel. Of course, he has a lot of experience on the channel. He's been racing in the IndyCar Series for a while. And hey, Caleb, I'm sure you had a great race last night here at Homestead to open up the Haas IndyCar Series. But how about Priya McShane? You know, early on is the opportunity for these hot seat drivers to have an opportunity at a Cup win. A little tight there into the corner there for McShane. But look at Kirsten Bell. And this is only her second career start on the channel. And she's got about a second lead as Roberto Crown Jr. with a problem. They're down the pit lane, and that's going to put them a lap down. This was the car that won this race last year. It doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. That's a tough break for him.
Oh, man.
Really tough to see. But, well, I think we're starting to see a dominant team emerging right now.
Already.
Leading, and here comes Jack Haas for second. Man, this team is looking strong early on in this race. But yeah, Kirsten Bell, that might be one to look out for, because he's already pulled out to over a second lead. And Jack Haas is already looking to pull away from the cars behind him.
They kept on battling for second there. That allowed that 93 to really pull out. But how about Evans Ross Racing? You know, Echo was a driver last year. She got 2 wins.
Here he comes.
And, you know, there's the other guy you got to watch out for. You know, I mentioned just as we started, you know, well, Drew Webb gets started off to a much better season than he did last year. Last year, he was not a threat in the championship until about midway through the regular season. Even then, that's when we just started seeing him have some solid runs. But we know what Drew Webb is capable of now. Obviously, last year, 6 wins on the season, and he didn't even win a race until nearly halfway through the season last year. If he can start off the season in victory lane, oh boy, it may be another Drew Webb season. But how about this guy, Angel Gutierrez? He won the Indy 250 last year. A much different race than what we're seeing here tonight. But it's definitely a driver to watch out for. Hey, Caleb, your pick is up here as well. Map Tuck, I know the Celsius Crusader, I know Grabin Autosport. They're looking for a much better year. And you got Braden Perez, Mr. Steal a win. He is right in position to maybe steal a win here. But hey, we're only on lap 9. It's still very early on in this race. Kirsten Bell has led all but 1 lap so far. And keep in mind, we still have a cycle of pit stops that we got to get through before this thing is all said and done. Bryce Egan up here. Matthew Hubert, a couple of rookie drivers right there. And you got Justin Zidell and Brady Mardi Gras here, just inside the top 10.
Lots of chaos and action going on right now throughout the field. Here's Gutierrez down to the inside of Jack Haas. That is for the second position. Don't look now. Not too far behind. Braden Perez in the 23 has arrived on the scene. Defending series champion Drew Webb not too far behind him. Way up the track goes Matthew Hubert. Almost catches the wall. He might have caught the wall a little bit on the outside. But they're all chasing down still the 93 of Kirsten Bell. And I believe that gap might be shrinking as Gutierrez gets around Jack Haas. Oh, hard into the wall. Matthew Hubert and a couple of others as well back there.
Braden Perez took a hard shot there. Matt Tuck and Drew Webb will get around him.
Perez, excuse me.
The Red Bull machine there for Team Williams. Not exactly what you want to do. You see the damage to that 23 machine. And hey, you know, Nathan was talking about this on Wednesday, that Homestead stripe. You know, we see it at Darlington all the time. Well, we see it here at Homestead. These guys overshoot the exit of the corner, and they just smash that outside wall. And I'm sure a lot of guys in the back of the field have that going on for them as well. How about these two guys right here? Travis Crampton, just inside the top 10 now, and Ludovic Charette, right ahead of the car he was in last year. And that's Zachary Fitzwater, who's still going for his first career top 10 in the Wawa Cup Series. Of course, Andrews Racing, a much better team than where he was last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Fitzwater can do in a much better ride, but Ludovic Charette is even in a better ride than what he was last year, and everyone keeps on talking about Ludovic Charette maybe being the championship favorite with that move. He was 6th in the championship standings last year with Andrews Racing, and of course with a stronger team, he's going to have a good opportunity at possibly having a shot at that championship once we get down to it later on in the year. How about your guy here? How about your guys? Nicholas Amadio starting to move his way into the top 20. Same with Logan Williams. Logan Williams won the last race of the season in 2023 in the Southern 500. You know he's going to have a lot of speed this year. Can he have the good luck to keep it going? He's 12th right now, going for 11th. Jack Haas a little wide, and we're closing in here on a possible battle for the race lead. Angel Gutierrez within half a second now of Kirsten Bell for this top position. How about Angel still going for that first official stock car win?
This is really something interesting to see. You got two rookies pulling away from the field, battling it out for the lead, but as you kind of touched on at the beginning of the race, going to be pretty much all about who has the long-run car. And Kirsten Bell fired off really well, but...
Jack Haas in the outside wall right there. Not exactly ideal as he continues to slip back. We're starting to see the cream rise to the top right here. We saw that in the Sprint Series. A lot of the veteran drivers in that race ended up finding themselves up front. Well, that's kind of what's going on right now. We got our defending champion running third in Drew Webb, Braden Perez, who was in the chase last year, Ludovic Charette, and Matt Tuck, Grattan Autosports. They're just as good as we all thought they were going to be, at least at this moment. Chase Bug, Travis Crampton. We got a lot of chasers from last year inside this top 10 now, and more on the way with Sam Adio and Thomas Troxel moving their way on the inside lane. The equal ratings are relatively equal ratings this early on in the season. Creates for some interesting stuff. As for the race lead, Angel Gutierrez trying to peek down on the inside of Kirsten Bell. He's got to the back bumper of that 93. Not enough of advantage. You don't want this guy to get up front. Drew Webb trying to open up the season in victory lane. That would be something for our defending champion to pull that off if he could.
Gutierrez is hanging tight with Kirsten Bell. Bell got that outside line working very well through 1 and 2 the last time through. Webb a higher exit out of 3 and 4 that time. Gutierrez is still there. Perez is 4th. 5th place is still Ace Garcia there in the 44. Things have stabilized out front, but the gap for the lead shrinking again. Gutierrez to the backside of Bell. Could he make a move heading off into turn 3? Bell on the defensive line. They both slip up a little bit. That's going to be good for Drew Webb. Although, you know what? He didn't gain as much through the corner that time as I thought he might have. In fact, he might have lost a little bit of ground there.
Yeah, kind of took a lower entry. Just a bit of a lower entry into the corner. And, this place is interesting. You're going to see Ludovic Charette right here trying to make it play wide. You're going to see Gutierrez have a nose to the inside of Kirsten Bell. You know what? I'm looking at Millennium Motorsports. I know this is only the first points race of the season, but they had some strong trucks in the Truck Series this past season, and Gutierrez, I know, is going to be a strong driver. Obviously, an Indy 250 champion. It's not as much of a surprise to see him run well, considering that on his resume. Of course, Kirsten Bell, only her second career start. I've heard a lot of good things about her, but I haven't really seen her in action. Well, already in this first race, she has led the most laps, led all but one so far. But how about Ludovic Charette up to 4th in that 51? That 51 looks strong here today. Travis Crampton moving his way up. And how about these guys? Sam Adio, Tuck, Troxel, Fitzwater. There's Avery Alford. Haven't mentioned Alford yet here today. Just outside the top 10 in that 52 machine. Good run for him right there. And we're going to see these guys shuffle all throughout the field here today. A couple guys who were up front earlier. Justin Zidell led the first lap. He's midway through the field. Not as good of a run for him as he would have hoped. Blaine Keys, I know he was hoping for a much better run after winning the truck race here a couple months ago. LJ Cimento returning to Titan Fury. His teammate's doing a lot better than he is right now, but he's got a long season ahead of him. I know he's going to have a lot of opportunities to get his first career win. He's still going for it after 4 or 5 years. I know you don't like to see this one, Josh. Bruno Diacomo won the Smooth Fest last week. Does not have the speed here today. He is down in 36. Brady Mardi Gras back in there. Eric Monaco, Brad Stover in the back of the field as well. We got Philip Torres, Laura Chung. But like I said, the cream is rising to the top right here. At least with Ludovic, Braden Perez, Drew Webb, Chase Buck, Travis Crampton. How about these 5 guys who were all chasers last year, trying to hone down on Gutierrez and Bell for this top position?
Still got a long way to go in this thing, but like you said, really starting to see who we might see in contention for this race win. As Bell sits a little bit there off of 2, and Gutierrez has just been kind of sitting on the back bumper of the 93 for the last couple of laps, maybe looking for an opportunity to maybe get the 93 to slip up just a bit. But Gutierrez has a pretty good run on the outside here. I think it's going to be all about maybe catching the 93 slipping up, but back in third, Ludovic Charrette's made his way up into the third position past Webb and Perez. I'm really excited to see what Ludovic Charrette will do this season, especially coming off of last season in the Cup Series and the Truck Series champion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Clinched that right here at Homestead, but Braden Perez there as well, looking to get to the inside.
Ooh, he's got it.
It's going to be tight, though, in the turn number 1 for him.
Though. Does he have enough momentum?
Not quite.
Not quite.
It's tough to get, especially, the tire wear is starting to come into effect now as well, so it's going to be very interesting once we get to the cycle of pit stops here shortly. About 10 laps from now, we will be in the pit window, and hey, we could go caution-free here tonight, especially the way these guys are spread out. It's very possible that we could end up with a caution-free race, which means that pit stop's going to mean a lot more because every millisecond's going to count towards getting yourself up front in this race. But 2 drivers have stood out. Angel Gutierrez and Kirsten Bell, both rookies of the Wawa Cup Series this season. Gutierrez trying to find a way around this 93. They continue the battle for third. Braden Perez and Ludovic Charrette right there. And Drew Webb, our defending champion, trying to open up the season with at least a top 5. He's doing a great job in this 99 right now, holding on to that position. Hey, don't count out Travis Crampton. Hey, don't count out Fitzwater. Remember what I said not too long ago, looking for his first top 10 of his career in the Wawa Cup Series. He didn't even finish top 10 at all last season. If he starts out the season with a top 10, that would be huge for him and Andrews Racing.
Absolutely would be. And in the wall once again back there. That was the Culver's car. Was that the 95 of Logan Williams, I think, smacked the wall coming out of turn number 2. He gets it back. He gets the car back under him, and he is now closing in on the 24 of Daniel Paulus Jr., Nicholas Samadillo on the inside of them. They move to the inside. Here comes the 62 of Thomas Truxell for Pacific Racing. To the inside of your pick, Caleb, the 54 of Matt Tuck.
Tanner Parton moving his way up. He had a good year last year. Moving on to Nathan Orman Motorsports. And he finds himself racing alongside all these chasers right here. How about Alexander Rowe? Not a surprise to see Alexander Rowe run well. He's a past Daytona 500 champion. There's a Daytona 500 next Sunday at noon Eastern Time. The second race of the season for these Wawa Cup Series drivers. A huge race there for all those guys. But hey, we open up the season with this Homestead race, and I think it definitely gives us a good idea on who's going to be good and who's not going to be good. And hey, we know all 4 of these guys are going to be good. How about Drew Webb there? 2 for 1 right there, as he's going to take 4th away from Crampton and Charrette. He's going to have a chance on Braden Perez as well. Some solid stuff out of these guys who were in the chase last year running well, but 2 rookies still leading this field. Kirsten Bell and Evans Ross Racing looking to open up the season in victory lane with a dominating performance, but a lot has to happen for them to still get this race victory. Not even halfway through this Wawa 400 yet.
Oh man, they are going at it back there for the 3rd position, and they're still going at it as Crampton looks to the inside of Drew Webb. But yeah, I think this race is going to come down to the pit cycle and how well it is executed. Because like I said pre-race, whatever happens during that cycle can either make or break your race. But seeing some pretty cool names up here in the top 10. Of course, you got your top 2, Kirsten Bell, Angel Gutierrez rookies. How about the 52 of Avery Alford? I know Airgel Motorsports is looking for a really good run, and I'm sure they will definitely be happy with this. Zachary Fitzwater looking to open the season out with a top 10. Like you said, it's really nice to see Fitzwater in a competitive ride finally, because I'm sure he's happy to finally be out of an Everbell Motorsports car.
The reason why that team isn't in the series anymore. Oh, Drew Webb. A little wide off the exit there. And how about the Sprint Series champion from last year making a move on the Cup Series champion from last year? We'd like to mention, while we're here, Brian Webb, the other Webb, driving there for Team Williams inside the top 10, and Chase Buck just holding on to that last top 10 position. Meanwhile, Gutierrez is coming close to that 93. But just hasn't been able to make the pass yet. We're about halfway through this Wawa 400. Next time by, we will be halfway through this race. And they're going to be coming on the pit lane shortly after that. And hey, we did not have green flag pit stops in this race last year, so like you mentioned at the top of the show, Caleb, a very, very jarring entrance to the pit lane. Hey, Kyle Larson in the Cup race here last year hit the attenuator, basically. Not necessarily. Hit the barrels going into the pit lane. So if a Cup champion has trouble getting down, I'm sure these guys might have some trouble coming down the pit lane here shortly. And hey, you got to be careful, because if a caution comes out during the cycle, that whacks everything out. And hey, this is a track where that could possibly happen. We'll have to see if they have a clean cycle. We'll have to see if we have a pass for the race lead before that happens, though. Gutierrez has a shot here on the inside of Kirsten Bell, and this might be his best shot yet.
Heading off into that first turn, Kirsten Bell on the outside line, making it work once again. Gutierrez hangs in behind the 93. If this goes caution-free, if it's between these two, if Perez, for instance, can't get a super quick pit stop, I wouldn't be surprised if this race is decided on pit road. We'll just see what happens when that time comes.
Hey, look at
Meanwhile,
Alford,
behind,
by the way, he's up to 5th now. Finding some speed in that 52 machine. And Ladovic for 3rd. They're on Braden Perez. You gotta be careful not to battle too much, because they're losing a little bit of ground to the top 2 right now because of all this. But hey, you know, if you get a good cycle going here on the pit lane, you might have a shot at closing. And how about Brian Webb? You know, Alford, Brian Webb are a couple of guys who have come through the field as of late. And here we go.
There we go.
Drew Webb's going to be one of the first ones down, and Nicholas Samadio, as well, I think Matthew Hubert also coming down. And the cycle begins here on lap 37. So we'll see if these guys get any advantage on the tires. The problem is, if a caution happens now, oh boy, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Let's just put it that way, because they're going to end up a lap down. That's the big kicker when you have green flag cycles of pit stops on these racetracks, especially ones like this, where the entry is as difficult as it is. Kirsten Bell, Angel Gutierrez coming down. Thankfully, there's a lot of room on the racetrack to avoid these guys trying to come down. Oh boy, you don't want to be doing that.
Whoa.
That was a tight entry there. Check in on everyone, make sure they get in cleanly. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Someone's around. Someone's around somewhere. Caution's out here at Homestead. Oh my goodness.
Boy, that's
Trey Bartow.
Oh, there we go.
Trey Bartow in the 4.
And a little extracurricular activity there with Roberto Crown Jr. as well, as they came across the line.
I'm wondering if the 5 might have gotten caught up in this one. Remember, they had an issue earlier on.
And that is not what Drew Webb or Nicholas Samadio wanted.
No, this just fell right in the favor of Ladovic Charette right here. Now, I do think they'll lose a lot of ground, but they're not going to go a lap down, I don't think, for Drew Webb and Nicholas Samadio. No, I'm wrong about that. Oh, boy.
They might be, they might be on the tail end of the lead lap if the rest of the cars come down. That would cycle these guys to the front of the pacing line, and then the ones that come down under this caution, But they need another caution to get back into contention at this rate. So this is, like you said, it's not what they needed at all.
Not at all. What a way to start the season off. Kind of less than ideal. Of course, last year we did not have a green flag cycle here at Homestead, and definitely one of the toughest places to make an entry onto the pit lane right there. It's going to fall in the favor of Ladovic Charette, however, in this 51 machine. We'll see what he does. 4 tires for the 51. I would imagine 4 tires on all of these guys. I think all these guys are going to end up on tail end of the lead lap right there. Brian Webb going to get a lap lead right there in the 13 machine. And Ladovic Charette, though, will win the race off the pit lane. And we got a bunch of guys that are going to be tail end. 15 drivers on the lead lap. All right, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution here at Homestead. Looks like Bernardo D'Oliveira, Sam Adoskin, both the Durrani cars might have gotten caught up in this one. And definitely going to shuffle these guys around here for this Wawa 400. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring it out here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Well, as these drivers are coming down the pit lane, Sam Adoskin, I don't know what happened to him, just gets into the outside wall and rides it. And Trey Bartow here in the 4 has a run on him. Both of these drivers staying out. And Bartow just slides up in the Oskin right there. little bit of a squeeze play off the exit of the corner. And that right there, my friend, is the caution. Now, I will say this. New rule for this year, we got a wave around. So all the cars who are on the tail end of the lead lap will get waved around, remain on the lead lap, start behind the 13 drivers who stayed on the lead lap, or 15 drivers, I think, that we had on the lead lap. So everyone's still very much in contention for the win. No one's going to be completely left out to dry anymore with those situations. And this is definitely one of the situations that encourages that. However, guys like Kirsten Bell and Angel Gutierrez are going to lose a ton of ground. They're going to have to make it back up here on this last run, going to the checkered flag. But either way, that's what brought out the caution. Trey Barta going around and messing up some guys' nights here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Let's put it that way.
Well, I thought we might have some trouble with some guys getting in the pit lane, but didn't really expect this. 73 Sam at Oskin. Looks like he tried to do a Larson around the outside, but ended up doing a Chastain, and Trey Barto also trying to stay out of the way of the guys coming in, slid up into him out of the corner, resulting in him going around on the front straightaway. Really tough break for those guys. And, Roberto Crown Jr. just couldn't get the car slowed down. That's unfortunate for him, but yeah, really tough break, especially for all these guys that came down the pit lane, especially guys like Nicholas Samudio, Drew Whip, who came down the lap before. That's really going to set all those guys behind the 8-ball. But this is going to be really, really good for Ludovic Charette and all those other guys who stayed out, because that is probably going to put all these guys up at the front when we eventually get to this restart.
So they will, in fact, be up front. Now, everyone will still essentially be on the lead lap, but all those guys who are already down are going to start behind these guys. So it's going to be interesting. Ludovic Charette, your race leader. He won the race off the pit lane. Let's see what he does on the restart here in the Wawa 400 at Homestead. All right, we are back here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, and I'm going to show this to you real quick. This came in handy, and we will be utilizing this year to avoid situations like that. So everyone waved around. Everyone is essentially back on the lead lap. You might not necessarily see it right now. You actually will there. So all those guys who were up front, they're still on the lead lap, still very much in contention for this race win. But they're going to lose all those positions. But a lot better than what it used to be, where everyone got caught a lap down, and hey, that's just the way it goes. That's one of the rule changes we'll have this year in situations like that. Huge thanks to Josh and Caleb for walking me through that as well. That was a little stressful, but hey. This fell in the hands of Ludovic Charette. And hey, we talked so much about Ludovic going into this season. What an opportunity for him. Avery Alford is second. What an opportunity for Avery, Sprint Series champion from last year. Brian Webb, Thomas Troxel, and Alexander Rowe, Sprint Series driver. Hey, Caleb, I'm sure you wouldn't mind seeing him go to victory lane. We'll have to see if that ends up happening.
Not at all.
And the first driver that we waved around, I believe, was Kirsten Bell in the 93. And she's going to restart 15th back in there. Roberto Crown Jr. a lap down, and Logan Williams a lap down here at Homestead. Back underway, 24 to go here in the Wawa 400 at Homestead. And now some new faces out front here. As Ludovic Charette's trying to get this first win of the season, where he won the Truck Series Championship last year. But how about Avery Alford and Thomas Troxel moving their way to the inside?
That tucked down to the inside of Travis Crampton as well. It'll be the 52 of Avery Alford going into the lead. Troxel right in behind, and Bruno Diacomo. Where did he come from?
He
down
stayed
to the
out.
Inside of Priya McShane.
He stayed out, and that absolutely benefited him right there. You know, got to jump on that whole field. Ace Garcia's down.
Oh.
Tough break for Ace, who was up front before all that madness happened on the cycle. Brian Webb now up to third, but it's Avery Alford for Harris Hill Motorsports out front here. 21 laps to go across the line here in this Wawa 400. Everyone's got fresh tires. Everyone's got a full tank of fuel. They're not going to have to come back down again here tonight. But the guys who were dominant, Kirsten Bell and all those others, man, they're kind of mired midway through this pack right now.
Wow.
Oh, and it's a bunch of craziness up front here. Ludovic slipping back. Same with Travis Crampton as well. Matt Tuck up to the fourth position. Don't look now. Here comes Thomas Troxel for Pacific Racing. This would absolutely be a race Troxel would win. We'll have to see if he can pull it off. How about Philip Torres here in the 20 machine for Rut Racing, Joe Rutkowski's team, and Bernardo de Oliveira in the 57 for Durrani, who was caught up, I think, was on the pit lane for an extended period of time. They've done some repairs on that car, and he's in the top 10 now.
Man, now that everyone's got fresh tires, it is crunch time now. Everyone's trying to get to the front while they still can because, like we saw, once those tires start to wear, it gets harder and harder to pass. But yeah, that caution completely flipped the race on its head. We have so many new competitors here in the top 10. Bernardo de Oliveira, Philip Torres, Brad Stover.
Oh, and here she comes. Here comes Kirsten Bell.
Kirsten Bell.
I'm sure she is not happy about losing all those positions. That's just the nature of it sometimes. But she is finding some speed in that 93, and obviously what we saw before that caution came out, she had led all but one lap going into that cycle. Oh, gotta be careful here. Brad Stover, a little wide off the exit. He's found himself in the top 10, but I think he's just fallen out of the top 10 right there. And look at where Kirsten Bell is compared to Angel Gutierrez. Gutierrez has not been able to make any ground from where he restarted right there in that 36 machine, as he was second before all that craziness started. Back out front, it's still Avery Alford trying to hold on to the race lead ahead of Thomas Troxel, who won, I think, how many wins did he have last year? It was either 3 or 4. I can't remember. He was top 3 in points at the end of the year for Pacific Racing. This is definitely one of the stronger teams in the series. And Thomas Troxel, one of the stronger drivers in the series. But Brian Webb, Matt Tuck, how about Alex Enro looking to spoil the party here tonight for Appalachian Motorsports? Brian Webb peeks to the inside for second there.
In the past Cup Series for Thomas Troxel, this track, Homestead-Miami Speedway, has been a track that has plagued him so close so many times. He wants a win to materialize today, but Byron Webb down to the inside actually is good. Brian Webb, is going to get that second place, and then Matt Tuck into third. Troxel settles into fourth for the time being, and here comes Alexander Rowe down to the inside of the 62 of Troxel.
And here comes Matt Tuck, the Celsius Crusader. I think someone in the booth picked him to win here tonight, and you know what? He's up to second, and you know what? He's closing in on Avery Alford. Not enough of a run to get to the 52 right now, but he is up there in the second position trying to get to Alford for this race win. But how about Avery Alford? I don't think we really talked too much about him coming into this season. Obviously, he won the Sprint Series title, but won on the last race, mainly just because Sam Oskin wrecked out. Still a great year for him in the Sprint Series last year. Got the opportunity to ride full-time for Airgel Motorsports. This team did not have a good run last year in the Cup Series. I know they're looking for a much better run here this year, and right now, at least right now, they've got it with Alford, but Matt Tuck is closing in. And this 54 right on the back bumper for the race lead. How about all these cars that have a 5 in front of them? And how about Kirsten Bell up to 5th? And how about Matt Tuck going for the race lead here with 14 laps to go?
Oh, side by side down the back straightaway. Looks like Tuck had enough momentum. He's going to stay to the inside in 3 and 4, but he slips up just a bit. Could that potentially open up the door for Alexander Rowe? Not quite. But through turn 4, Matt Tuck clear for the race lead as they come to lap number 54. Look at that.
He picked the perfect time. Alexander Rowe, he's going to slide up, and here we go.
That stacks everybody up.
Brian Webb to the inside of Kirsten Bell. Bernardo de Oliveira in the 57 as well, and the 13's got a good shot. Alexander Rowe's got a shot here. O'Brien's going to go 3 wide for second. He's going to go 3 wide for second, and he might make it work. And here comes Giacomo in the 28. But this is exactly what Matt Tuck wanted to see in his rearview mirror. These guys going 3 and 4 wide for second, and he's starting to pull away. Hey, don't look now. Here comes Blaine Keys in the 41 for Racing Motorsports. I have a good feeling about Blaine this season. Alexander Rowe slipping up a little bit in the 50. Brian Webb up to second in the 13. What a night it has been for Brian Webb and Team Williams. Alexander Rowe trying to get some of the work up there. A little bit too much sauce into the corner. And Giacomo, who won last week in the Smooth Fest, up now. They're looking for the 3rd position on Kirsten Bell, who was the dominant driver earlier on. She's going to slip up a little bit. Here comes Bernardo in the 57 to Ronnie Racing. How about this? Matt Tuck, I feel like a lot of people, you know, if you told me Matt Tuck's going to win the first race of the season, that, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. They came off very strong last year. They were consistent all year round. If it wasn't for the wreck at Watkins Glen, Matt Tuck would probably have been the champion last year. 11 laps to go here in the Wawa 400 for Groton Autosport and Matt Tuck.
But don't look now. Here comes Brian Webb in the 13, closing in little by little, mile after mile around the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Closing in a little more, coming out of turn number 2, running a good line. Kirsten Bell slams the wall, coming out of turn 2. Stay straight, so we stay green. Brian Webb still trying to close in on that 54. Staying in the draft of Matt Tuck. 3 wide once again. Back there for the 6th position. Row on the inside of that. And it was the 41 of Blaine Keys. That was the benefactor from that. And he's going to go to work on Thomas Truxell now.
And, this 41 is finding some speed late in the going, and there is still plenty of time for him to get to the race lead. Meanwhile, Angel Gutierrez is also starting to move his way through the field in the 36. And how about LJ Semedo?
Hey, LJ Semedo.
This is a pleasant surprise right here for the 71. Meanwhile, I would like to mention Drew Webb was one of the first guys who came down. You know what?
Yeah.
The bad luck struck him right there. And you know what? He's used to that. 25th now because of that. And just hasn't been able to rebound from getting caught a lap down and having to take the wave around, losing all those positions. Not exactly the best day for Drew Webb, but you know what? He started off the season last year. He was down in 23rd in the standings at one point.
Bernardo de
Oliveira up to 2nd. And don't look now. Don't look now. Here comes Blaine Keys in this 41. I tell you, any of these 5 can go to victory lane here tonight, the way this is going. But Matt Tuck holds the best position right now in that 54.
We may be getting into the closing stages of this race, but it is far from over. Bernardo de Oliveira up to 2nd. Had some really strong runs last season in the Rowdy Energy Pro Series. Was really excited to see how he'll do this season in the Cup Series, currently running 2nd with a shot to win. I know Ryan Durrani's loving this right now. He and his driver running 2nd, but Avery Alford's still right on the back bumper of that 57. He's going to slip up just a bit. Matt Tuck goes really wide through turn 2.
Boy.
That's going to allow all these guys to close in, and man, behind these 5 cars, it is an absolute hornet's nest. Right now is, the 52 had to check up there, entered really low, but it looks like he's going to be able to dive in the corner a little bit, and it looks like he's still going to be able to take 2nd away.
And Avery Alford still in position to possibly steal this win. How about LJ Semedo? This 71 is quick. 3rd quickest lap of the race so far. I don't know if that's been recent, but the way he's running right now, I think that has been a recent lap for him.
How about Angel Gutierrez?
Yeah, and Gutierrez as well. He rebounded significantly there. May not be able to get the win. I don't know.
I don't know.
You got 3 wide there for the 3rd position, and Avery Alford closing back in, trying to take this back away from Matt Tuck. 5 laps to go on the Wawa 400 at Homestead, the opening race of the Wawa Cup Series here in 2024. And you absolutely want to get this win and start off the season correctly. And then going into the biggest race of the year next week, I should say.
He's there.
It's going to be huge if you get this win going into the Daytona 500. Alford looking for it. And here comes Blaine Keys for 3rd on Brian Webb. Alford unable to make the move on Matt Tuck. 4 to go for the 54 in Grattan Autosport.
Can't get it over there in 3 and 4 as well as you can 1 and 2. Alfred going to go to work again on Tuck, gaining some ground on the inside out of turn 2. Nose there to the inside for a moment, still taking a peek to the inside, down the straightaway.
He's got it. He's got underneath him.
Alfred is there, underneath Tuck. Blaine Keys not too far behind. Alfred takes the lead at Homestead with 3 laps to go.
Oh, and that was perfect for Alfred because he didn't stay side by side for too long. However, Blaine's going to get the 2nd position here on Matt Tuck. Going to dive it in the turn number 1. They remain side by side. That might, I don't know, 2.5 laps to go. It's still enough time to close in, but if they stay side by side like this, it's going to be even harder to get to that 52. That may have been the pass for the race win. I don't know, Blaine Keys, though, in this 41. How about racing? Oh, boy. Look at this. He's got to run. He's got to run. Cue the Jaws theme. Here comes Blaine Keys, looking to open up the season with a points-paying race victory. He could pull this off. On Wednesday, Eric Monaco led only 1 lap to win the South Florida 200. Hey, Blaine Keys looking to do the same here tonight, but not enough of a momentum for him right now. And Alford holding on to this race lead. Next time by, it's the white flag in the Wawa 400 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Avery Alford going for his first career Cup Series win, but he's got to hold off Blaine Keys, who won 2 of the longest mile-and-a-half races last year. Here we go. 1 lap to go in the Wawa 400 at Homestead.
Or we're going to count any Gutierrez just yet. I think he might be a little too far back. Keys has a pretty good run off of turn number 2. Is it going to be enough?
Whereas he's going to have to dive bomb it here. Will he do it? Oh, he's got a nose. Here we go. This is going to be a close finish here to open up the season. Blaine Keys, Avery Alford. It's not going to be enough. Avery Alford wins his first career Cup Series race. He gets it in the Wawa 400 at Homestead. How about that? And Hairgel Motorsports finally breaks the glass ceiling and goes to victory lane in the Pinnacle Series on the channel. How about that for the Sprint Series champion from last year, showing it to the Cup Series drivers this year here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Wow.
Singtel really was the fastest tonight. Avery Alford gets it done. What a race and what a finish here at Homestead.
You couldn't ask for anything more. Hey, I mean, I know we had that little moment during that cycle, but we got everyone back on the lead lap. Wow. You love it. Hey, it's back, guys. We're back. Wawa Cup Series is just getting started, and if that race was any indication, we're in for one heck of a season. Avery Alford by 7/100ths of a second on Blaine Keys across the line. One more lap, and that would have been Blaine Keys' victory. LJ Semedo finishing 3rd. Great run for him. Angel Gutierrez and Ludovic at the top 5. Matt Tuck fell to 8th there. Not exactly what he wanted, I know for sure. Great run, though, for Brian Webb, Bernardo de Oliveira, Bruno Diacomo finishing 9th, and Kirsten Bell, who was dominant earlier on, finishing 10th. You know, early on in the season, with the ratings the way they are, hey, you know, we're just going to see so many guys cycle through, and that's what we saw here tonight in this opening race. Take a look at the rest of the results right there. Hey, everyone did finish. Logan Williams, Roberto Crown Jr., and Ace Garcia all a lap down, and not the best of runs for the guys in the back of the field. Travis Crampton was up front earlier on, and he got shuffled out of line because of the cycle as well, and man, it just shuffled everyone out. That was a very interesting race. That's just all I got to say. But hey, you know what? Thankfully, we're able to get everyone back in the lead lap. Definitely something we're going to utilize this season to avoid everyone being on the tail end. We would have not had that race if we didn't have that option available. Like I said, thank you, Josh and Caleb, for walking me through that on such short notice. But I'm glad we did it. And, wow. What a first race of this Wawa Cup Series season. Hey, we got 29 more to go. I don't know. What are you looking forward to as this season rolls on? And how about this race here at Homestead?
I am just speechless right now. If that's any indication of how the rest of the season's going to go, then we are in for a meal. But what a way to start out the season, and what a win for Avery Alford and Hairgel Motorsports, making it 2 for 2 so far for the rookies this season. That is absolutely incredible. And it's going to make it even more interesting to see how these rookies develop as the season goes on.
You know, we started off with a fabulous race last year, too, here at this very same racetrack. And we had just an absolutely barnstorming season last year. And if that was any indication, again, as Caleb and Alex have mentioned, this is going to be one heck of a Wawa Cup Series season. Big congratulations to Avery Alford. I thought Blaine was going to get it there at the end. He did everything he could, through everything but the kitchen sink at Avery Alford, trying to pry himself up to the front. But big shout out to LJ Semedo, climbing all the way back up from the doldrums for a podium finish tonight. A fantastic run for the 71. Expect great things from Titan Fury Racing this year, especially seems like with the 71 of LJ Semedo. And Drew Webb, his teammate, had a good start to the evening. It didn't start it didn't end too well because of the fiasco under the caution, but LJ Semedo, expect good things for him this year. Absolutely. And I just cannot wait to see what happens for the rest of the season. Looks like it may be another fantastic season of Wawa Cup Series competition.
I definitely think it will. Hey, our next race is the Daytona 500, so
Woo!
we spice it up before the biggest race of the year. That's why we do it the way we do. And you know what? We're excited to see who gets that one because that's a big race. And hey, last year, same driver won this race and the Daytona 500. Will that be a good omen for Avery Alford? We'd like to mention one more thing before we call it for the night. Drew Webb finishing 26th. I don't think that's what he wanted, especially considering how he was running earlier on. His two closest rivals in the Cup Series last year, Troxel and San Benito, finished ahead of him, but I don't know. Not a good way to start the season if you're Drew Webb there in the 99, especially considering the teammate finished third. There was definitely speed in those Titan Fury cars here tonight, just not for that 99, and it'll be interesting to see how he recovers from that. What a race. What a race here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. And next week, next Sunday, February 18th at noon Eastern Time, it is the Daytona 500. 50 laps around the Daytona International Speedway. Definitely excited to see who gets the Great American Race here in the Wawa Cup Series for the second race of the season. And Avery Alford is going to be going into that race, the points leader here in the Wawa Cup Series, as he wins the Wawa 400. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. A huge thanks to Josh and Caleb for joining me here tonight. And hey, we're just getting started. It's going to be a great season. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series after the first race of the season. And on behalf of Josh Williamson and Caleb Rose, congratulations to Avery Alford. And I will see you guys later.